They had a random drug test one day. They gave us our samples to go and obviously urinate into. And then let's go back to our cabin. It was very relaxed. Came back, gave them the sample and left. And left, I forgot about it, to be honest. And then one day I got called into the captain's office, of all people. He called into the captain's office when something's wrong. And he asked me if I was on any medication. And I said, not on any medication. I'm pretty healthy. And he said, that's fine, off you go. And I said, that's great. I thought that was a bit weird. But then about 2 weeks later, they came through and they had a disciplinary inquiry, basically asking am I on drugs, taking heroin. Test came back positive and blah, blah, blah. And they dropped me off in Funchal. I got into the wrong airplane on the way out as well.
You got on the wrong...
I got into the wrong airplane. I was flying to Vienna.
So did you actually, did it take off or did you manage to...
No, I got kicked off the airplane as well. So I got kicked off the ship and the airplane the same day.
Wow.
The bus companies that drive out, they always have a spare bus in case one breaks down so they can carry on. We always used to hop onto the spare bus on the way back. And so it was really awesome because all the passengers would be packed like sardines into their bus. And when we would go back, we'd have our own bus to ourselves. You see the looks that they gave us. We'd come down the stairs all nice and relaxed.
I want to pick up from where we left off. So you were talking about your dismissal from the ship and how you were having to be drug tested.
They had a random drug test one day. They gave us the samples to go and obviously urinate into. And then let's go back to our cabin. It was very relaxed. Came back, gave them the sample and left. And left, I forgot about it, to be honest. And then one day I got called into the captain's office, of all people. He called into the captain's office when something's wrong. And he asked me if I was on any medication. And I said, no, not on any medication. I'm pretty healthy. And he said, that's fine, off you go. And I said, that's great. I thought that was a bit weird. But then about 2 weeks later, they came through and they had a disciplinary inquiry, basically asking am I on drugs, taking heroin. Test came back positive and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so then there was this big hoo-ha about it. My company was obviously fighting with them, saying this is ridiculous. The guys, they can see he's not taking heroin. So it was this period of about 3 weeks that I had to sit on ship or on board and wait for this decision to have the axe fall and be kicked off. And we were having a really good time on the Destiny. The Destiny was a very special ship. It was you, Tommy, Joe, there was Archie was there, even the guys I worked with, Francis, so Marlon. There were a whole lot of special people, and it was a lot of fun to be hanging out with them all the time. And it was a bit sad. And then one day they just, the thing got chopped and I had to come home. And they dropped me off in Funchal. I got into the wrong airplane on the way out as well.
You got on the wrong...
I got into the wrong airplane. I was flying to Vienna.
So did it take off or did you manage to...
No, I got kicked off the airplane as well. So I got kicked off the ship and the airplane the same day.
Wow.
And then I came home. And luckily I came home in time for my best friend's wedding, actually. So that was pretty fortunate. I stayed around here for a couple of months. And then they sent me off to the celebration and to carry on finishing off my contract there. Yeah.
What?
It was ridiculous. I think they couldn't not send me home. The test came back positive, but even the chief purser was like, "This is ridiculous." He could see that it was completely bogus. Well, it was a mistake, and I don't think that they could actually then say, "Well, there was a mistake," because then that would mean all the drug tests they've been doing had been mistakes.
What the hell? So you were fired, or your contract was terminated?
I wasn't fired. My contract on the ship was terminated. So I wasn't allowed to go back to work for Lewis Cruise Lines anymore.
What's Lewis Cruise Lines?
Yeah, that was the owners of the Destiny. So your hotel manager and some of the staff were employed obviously by Thompson's, and the ship was being leased to Thompson's, and that was owned by Lewis Cruise Lines. So the officers, guys that run the ship, they were obviously part of that cruise line. So I wasn't allowed to work for that cruise company or that shipping company anymore. But I wasn't fired from my job. So they flew me back to Naples, where I joined the celebration, which had a different charter company running it.
All right.
Funny enough, Captain Dearman came on board, and he's from South Africa. He's not only from South Africa, he's from my town. Not only from his town, but I was friends with his son. So that was like quite a coincidence.
Well, that's going to make your life a lot easier, having the captain on your side because he's a family friend.
I wouldn't say he was a family friend. I knew his family. So only when his son came on board and his daughter Sally came on board, I realized that they were the same family. So it was a bit stupid on my behalf, but it was pretty cool.
Did you try to get some extra special privileges and they were denied?
Well, actually, I gave them special privileges. We went on one tour to Petra. So like part of my job was going on tours, taking photographs. And myself and TJ, who was he was a videographer and I was a photographer. We used to go to Petra quite often, or actually every week. And we had hooked up with the group. You know, like the bus companies that drive out, they always have a spare bus in case one breaks down so they can carry on. We always used to hop onto the spare bus on the way back. And so it was really awesome because all the passengers would be like packed sardines into their bus. And when we would go back, we'd have our own bus to ourselves. You see the looks that they gave us when we come down the stairs like all relaxed. Anyway, I was sitting in the bus and Captain Dearman was climbing onto one of the passenger buses. And I like whistled him out the window and said, hey, come, show you a secret. And yeah, we all had a whole bus ride back down from Petra to Aqaba together. It was quite cool.
Oh, well, nice for you. Not so nice for the sardines.
Nah.
But it is what it is. The certain perks of the job. Do you remember any other perks of the job that you were kind of like, do this?
No, I did it for money, but I didn't make any money because I spent it all on booze. But yeah, we could barter. We would take so many photographs. I mean, we could take photographs of the crew, what they wanted. I mean, on captain's evening, I got a whole bunch of crayfish, lobster, I think you call them, came through. And the guy gave them to me because obviously he wanted his photographs for free. So yeah, you'd get like obviously a little trade going on inside there, free haircuts. Like if you wanted to just go on an excursion. No, it was pretty good.
Yeah, but obviously if you gave photos away and you didn't accept money for them, was there like a lot of earnings?
Do you know how many photographs we threw away every cruise? The waste on cruise ships, it's insane. I mean, they make the food and you just see the food going. Like I come from a third world country where people are starving, right? And yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, and shops throw their food away. But that's the first time in my life I've ever seen like big of food go straight into the rubbish bin. It was shocking. And then for us as well, so we would print all the photographs. So like in each obscene amounts of money for me. Like then it was like £18 for a 8x10. So it was expensive. Yeah, then once the cruise is over, all that stuff gets patched up in the rubbish bin and tossed.
Shredded.
Yeah, so giving a photograph away to somebody, no one cared.
It's a good barter system that you have something that you can just give away and people have to give you stuff that's actually worth money.
The photographers are always kind of popular on missions, especially like it was so nice because like the crew, the crew don't get to go off the ship that often, right? I mean, even the entertainers weren't able to go on excursions all the time. They had to obviously apply and then but we were just given a ticket to go on the bus and go.
That's right. You were on so many excursions. I remember being a little bit jealous, and I was like, "Oh man, I'd love to go there. I'd love to go and do this." But you were like, "No, you had to go. You had to capture some of the magic for the guests."
It was hardly working, but we did our best to capture for the guests and also for the crew as well. So if they caught you and they were out, you would just take 1,000 photographs for them because, well, not 1,000, but you take a lot of photographs for them. Just didn't get out very often, and it was nice to be popular with them. The only people I didn't like were the laundry people.
Why?
Well, you just said something. I mean, clothes would come back and the buttons would be ripped off them. And this is like being a spoiled kid. Like when I would get undressed after school or whatever, I would take my shirt and just chuck it in the laundry basket. Okay, I wouldn't button it or unroll the sleeves or anything like that because I didn't know. So I would just do the same thing. So they would get my shirt that rolled up with, they would just go, no, sir, and they would rip all the buttons off. But just someone came to me and said, hey, listen, just unbutton your button. I only found out about that a couple of years ago when I got married, to be honest. You can see why, because they're not going to sit there and unbutton everybody's shirt, You never put two and two together that if I unbuttoned my shirt, I wouldn't lose my buttons, A bit stupid on my behalf, but
All right, well, let's button that story.
Well, let's sew this up.
There we go. Let's sew up this story. Was there any forbidden married man with 2 kids?
2 kids.
2 kids, sorry.
I wasn't married on the ship.
No, I know you weren't. Your friendship with me was almost like an adoptive father, even though you're only a couple of years older than me. Okay.
Yeah, but you were like a little baby when you came on board, bro. You needed help. You were so lost.
Well, I was the youngest.
Yeah, you were youngest on the ship. Oh, my little Sammy. Come, Sam. Don't cry. It's okay.
When did you see me cry?
Are you crying inside?
Oh, inside. Yeah, you just see behind my eyes.
You were happy. You were a happy chappy. You were that guy.
But go back to your memories. What do you remember about the days at the terminal in?
Geez, embarkation day was hectic. I mean, we embarked 1,200 people, and you'd have to take a photograph or 3 photographs of each couple, each party. But dude, I've never seen people so miserable, eh? And you have to say hello to them when they're inside the truck. Hey, hello everyone. Remember, you've actually taught me something. You don't say hi guys, hello everyone, or good afternoon everyone, because that's polite. And then try and be nice to these people, but geez, they are just miserable. All they want to do is get on board and get drunk.
Yeah.
And you have to take photographs of them after like a journey, or they just want to walk over you. I said, you're on holiday, man. Just learn to relax. Oh, I didn't like that. Eh?
But I honestly think that embarkation duties in the terminal at Tenerife, especially when they went like into the evening with you and Joe, whoever was in the terminal, like Archie and stuff, we had a blast.
Yeah, remember that poor Spanish? He hated us, eh?
He didn't like to see us having fun, and we would be in that terminal for hours on end, just trying to kill time.
Remember when we were playing on the wheelie chairs? We made the reins, and one guy was a horse, and the other person like went and was spinning around doing hula hoops, and the chain broke, and we knocked over the water station. And as we knocked over the water station, that bus rolled in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to put up all the danger barricades in this because otherwise people are going to slip and kill themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Welcome to Tenerife.
As I said, Disney Islands thing was fantastic. I mean, it was such a good vibe. There were just so many good people. You know, my first contract Spirit was very lonely. There was like not anybody I could. There were good guys on that. There were really good people on that ship, and I just didn't feel like I fitted in very well. There was no real vibe. I think everybody had known each other from before the previous season, so it was hard to break through that. But on the Destiny, there was like a bunch of strangers came together. Some guys from a last ships, and all of a sudden you're a second you're a seasoned kind of seafarer, and you know what's going down, and it was really cool.
It was my first contract, but I still to this day feel like that was one of my favorites.
Sam, there was something special about that ship, and I don't think it was the heroine, but there was something special about that time. I mean, Madeira, going through Lanzarote, we used to take those walks through the volcano fields. Funny enough, when I was leaving this is how green behind the ears I was. When I was leaving on the taxi to take me to the airport because I'd just been like kicked off the ship, I get in the car and I'm saying goodbye, and it was also sad and everything. And the driver turns around and he goes, "Hey, Brew, how's it going?" I'm like, "From?" He said, "No, man, I'm from Joburg." So there's a huge, and I only found out then that there's a massive Portuguese South African community from Funchal, from Madeira. And no idea that the whole time I'd been there, I could have gotten all my comforts from home if I just hooked up with the right people. It must be amazing, like nowadays, you're working on a ship with internet and Facebook and Twitter and all these things where you can just be in contact with people.
I think part of the that made it special was not having that contact.
True, yeah. I found guys in La Palma, obviously sailors, but a whole bunch of South Africans. They were like, "No, man, you must come. We're having a braai. This is where we are. We got chicks, we got beer, we got this, that." I'm like, flipping, and I lost the address.
Do you remember anything that springs to mind about your memories of me that I would have otherwise forgotten? And there's not many people that I can ask these stories to come from other than people like I was closer to you than I was probably some of my own team members. Yeah,
Sam, you were a very good guy. On the ship, you tried your best. You were the youngest person. You were crazy, but you were the guy that they would do anything. I mean, you dress up like a pirate. Remember the happiest day of your life when you were a pirate? And you're chasing the children around. You know,
I was a child,
but you loved it. I mean, you're hiding behind trees, kids chasing you. You were just a pleasure to have around. I mean, just happy, and just exploring everything for the first time. It was lekker. Well, lekker, and it was nice, like lekker food. Lekker soos 'n cracker. No, you were good, genuine. If you were South African, you're a good guy. I remember one of my fondest memories was Mr. Smile.
It was a little bar, cafe, whatever you want to call it, restaurant.
Place was like the Homo week. We used to go and get food. We'd smuggle in past the security, even though they knew. And that was fun. I mean, because embarkation and the guys just want to leave. We'd get out. We'd go get Mr. Smile, get our chow, have a beer there, back into the ship. And that was
because it was our like reset day. You know, we were turning over all the old guests to the new ones. You needed a quick break from the ship, and Mr. Smiles was like our holiday away from the ship, just to kind of recharge a little bit before we started the sail away deck party was just about around the corner.
And also the next day was day at sea, which was obviously the most busy day for all of us. It was like up early, work the whole day through captain's night. Hey, I wouldn't mind going back to those days. They were fun. We were young, we were stupid, we did dumb things.
Yeah.
Oh, that time we went to Laura with the killer whales. That was Kef.
Oh, yeah, they don't do that no more.
No, no, they don't do that anymore. We went to Laura Park. We got wet. Then there was Laura Park. The time we went in Morocco. Remember Morocco? We used to go to Agadir to go and buy the €1 videos.
Still have somewhere a book. It's a metal case with just like doubles in every pocket with old DVDs from Agadir.
Old DVDs, yeah. And you'd go there and you'd be like such a crapshoot whether this thing worked or not, eh? And because we didn't have Netflix then.
No, but obviously, well, it's interesting. There's a lot of people's fondness for the simpler times, if you want to call them those.
Yeah.
Trading DVDs with people in exchange for being able to download off of their external hard drive.
I used to love getting
music, TV shows, and film.
So there was in La Rambla, there was a side they called Revolver Records. Man, I used to love that shop. I spent all my money from the ships on CDs, DVDs, and beer. It was,
you were saying about how you had this currency of being able to give people photographs for crayfish or whatever. The thing I had that people wanted was access to kind of pins, key rings. On other ships, it was like medals or trophies, little plastic trophies of a ship. But we couldn't just give them away to so many people because we had to give them to the guests. And if we just gave them all away every time, then we'd have nothing to work with. And the company would be like, well, where have they all gone? And we had to answer for our crimes. So we wouldn't do it unless we absolutely had to, unfortunately, because it wasn't like if we didn't sell it, it didn't matter.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was also about being kind to each other, you know. Some of the crew have a terrible job. They really work hard. They get nowhere, and it's just nice to be kind to people. So we were lucky being concessionaires. I mean, on the floor of the ship, you were staying in the front. We were at the bow, at the aft, but we had the third level cabins. Offices was like in our corridor. We had, my porthole window, and that was not so much in the Destiny. The Destiny was a bit more shitty, but the other ships we stayed on, we really got treated well. I mean, we eat inside the passenger areas. Treated a lot better than. I eat at the crew bar, crew mess a few times, and the vibe there was fantastic, and the guys were awesome. But geez, that food, I just couldn't. I couldn't handle it. Eh? I couldn't handle the food in the Lido anyway because it was just the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, very repetitive, very quick.
Yeah, it's free, so I'll shut up and eat it.
Yeah, that's it. It's very. But you get bored of the same food, so you hunger for sweets and meats.
It's just like the curry. I wanted nice curry, and the curry started off very nice, but it's the same curry, and it doesn't match to our curry in Durban because in Durban we've got the biggest Indian population outside of India living in Durban.
Really?
There's a huge Indian community here, and I think we are still the Indian population outside of India.
Okay.
What happens when back in the bad old days of colonization?
My girlfriend's gonna love this.
No, well, we lived through it. We live through it here every day, and it's a real thing. It's a real problem, and it's descended or British. My was Afrikaans, but her grandmother was Scottish. My language is English. I was brought up English. So your history and my history, even though I'm South African, they do tie together quite. And colonization was wrong. Into Zululand, and they just attacked them. People going about Rorke's and St. Lawana, they're all famous battles. The mere fact is, and my family fought in those battles too, okay, Red Coasts or locals, we shouldn't have been there. There's no reason for us to actually be there because the Zulus and the English actually got on quite well back in those days. But anyway, that's another long story. And I don't even know why I brought that up. What was it?
I don't know. We were talking about Indian curry.
Oh, Indian curry. Yeah. So anyway, what happened is, there was a form of like slavery. It wasn't quite slavery. It was called indentured labor. Where they would bring people over from India to come here and to work the cane because there was lots of cane here. So sugarcane, yes. So your Indian culture is very class orientated. So you've got different classes of people. So the indentured labor that they brought in here was from that majority. And if anyone's listening to this time wrong, I apologize. I'm just telling the history as I know it. But they brought them over to SA to work as indentured laborers, and they brought with them their cultural food and all the rest of it. Obviously, there were many different people moved in. So Gandhi came to, so like it's a very important and very vibrant part of our community. And so they were to work, and they were given a piece of land for their time served as working. And they've as a population in South Africa, they've absolutely flourished. They're very strong. They're very important part of our population. And the one thing that we get as a benefit of having this population group here is just the most amazing food. This is not the main thing they brought. I'm sorry. They bring a lot more than food. But one of the benefits that we do have is we have this absolutely amazing currying experience if you come to Durban. We've got bunny chows, we've got rotis, we've got curry that's probably the best in the world. And they're awesome, amazing people. To eat curry, and this is the long way around to tell the story, to eat curry on the ship that wasn't cooked by an Indian auntie down here just doesn't do its service.
I know what you mean. So, it was just lacking something. It was obviously like mass produced.
No, it was actually fine. It was fine. But the problem is when you can only have chicken tandoori cooked the same way so many times.